Hello everyone, I'm Duke, and this is the fourth part in my Bannerlord for Newbies series, where I aim to explain the many facets of Mountain Blade to Bannerlord as simply as possible. So far we've covered the leveling system, the world map, and the fighting mechanics. For part 4, we're taking a look at the warband mechanic, how to recruit troops, manage your warband, and improve it. If you find these guides helpful, you can support the channel with a like and subscribe. Thanks a bunch, and let's do this. Starting a warband, or more specifically named a party, is pretty easy. On the world map, you can access the party window either by pressing P or clicking right here at the bottom. At the top right, you will see your maximum party limit, that is, how many soldiers you can currently lead, and at the bottom, how many prisoners you can hold. The prisoner limit is directly affected by how many men you lead, so essentially the more soldiers you lead, the more prisoners you can hold. If you exceed both limits, troops will start deserting you and the prisoners will start escaping. So to recruit troops, there are several ways, but let's start with the first and simplest way to do so, by either visiting villages or castles and clicking on recruitment. You will then see the pool of recruits currently available. You will also notice some recruit slots might be grayed out. That's because you don't have a high enough relation with the notable that's offering the recruits. The more you improve your relations with notables, such as by completing quests for them, the more recruits they will offer. NPC lords will also visit villages to recruit, so it's not uncommon for villages to not have available recruits. But don't worry about it, because the recruiting pool refreshes frequently. You will also occasionally notice that different types of troops are offered, such as archers, cavalry, or more advanced infantry. While the recruiting cost is higher, these troops are also of a higher tier, meaning they will be more effective in battle from the start. Typically the lowest rank is recruit, and regardless of which culture they are from, they typically don't have shields and are overall pretty weak. The type of troops is directly tied to the settlement's culture, so to get SRA recruits, for example, you need to visit settlements in the SRA region. But that is the most straightforward and reliable way of getting troops. Another way to recruit troops is by rescuing prisoners from bandit groups or enemy lords. It's not uncommon for bandit groups and lords to have prisoners in their parties, and every time you defeat them, you will get an option to bring their prisoners into your own party. This method is far more random, as you get little choice in the type of troops you get. However, rescuing troops, unlike recruiting from settlements, has no recruiting costs. You can add them to your party for free, and then start paying wages. The third way of recruiting is by recruiting prisoners from your own party. Whenever you take prisoners, it is possible after a while that some of these prisoners will offer to join your warband. Much like rescuing prisoners, this has no initial cost. However, recruiting prisoners lowers the morale of your army, something I'll get into in a moment. The fourth easy method to recruit troops is by hiring mercenaries in taverns. Whenever you go into towns, head to the tavern district and you will see what kind of mercs are available. Mercs are typically well equipped, but have a very expensive cost up front. And given how easy and much cheaper it is to recruit villagers and train them, I would say mercenaries aren't worth it for the most part. And finally, the most obscure way of recruiting is by recruiting bandits. For this, however, you need to heavily invest in the roguery skill. As you advance the skill, you will get the option to offer bandits groups to just join you. This can get you a lot of troops, but bandits tend to be mid to low in quality, and it does tarnish your character's reputation, something else for another video. However, if you have a large warband and you attack a group of bandits, they will offer to join you instead of dying. Either way, this becomes more possible if you build your character as a bandit. So these are all the main ways in which you can get troops. But ultimately, no matter the size or quality of your warband or your objectives in the game, the biggest factor in keeping your warband intact and ever improving is morale, which you can look at the bottom right here. As morale goes down, your soldiers will start deserting your warband. So many things must be done to keep your warband's morale high, such as always having food, paying your troops on time, and having some good recent events. So let's break that down. If your soldiers are starving, morale will go down rapidly. If you hover your mouse on the icon right here, it tells you how many days until you run out of food, so always keep a good amount of supplies in your inventory. Food can be bought in towns and villages, and enemy parties often carry a lot of it. Having a lot of food variety, such as fish, meat, beer, olives, and grapes, will also provide a morale boost. Paying your troops on time is also really important. Troops have to be paid every single day, so make sure you always have some money. If you're running short, winning battles, selling loot, and ransoming prisoners are quick ways of making money. If you fail to pay your troops, they will start deserting. And finally, recent events refers to recent victories or defeats in battle, as well as the absence of battles. Your troops will get bored if they don't fight, but losing battle after battle will also cripple their morale. So a good way to keep morale very high is by winning battles, essentially. But in addition to keeping your morale high, another long-term goal is to get an even bigger warband. A bigger warband means you can take on even more powerful lords and perhaps even assault castles and towns. To increase the actual size of your warband to lead more troops, this relies on two main things: your clan tier and your steward level. Clan tier refers to the level of your clan. Whether you start a sandbox game or story mode, you have to create a clan, and this clan improves through renown. Renown is your popularity throughout the land, which you earn by completing quests, winning tournaments, and battles. Every time your clan reaches a new tier, you will automatically get a huge increase in party limit. Steward is the skill linked with the logistics of leading troops to war and can be increased by keeping the morale high, your troops well supplied, and paid on time. The more morale boost you get from food variety, the more your steward skill increases, which in turn increases the party limit. So increasing party size should always be one of your priorities. But okay, we know how to recruit, maintain, and increase the size of a warband, but what about improving the troops? Much like you, troops gain experience in battle, allowing them to level up. As they level up, so do their skills and equipment, until they reach the highest tier, where they pretty much become elite. The lowest troop type is typically the village recruit, but as you bring them into battle, they will gain experience from killing other NPCs, and assuming they survive the battle, you will get the option to upgrade them. You go back to the party menu, and each troop with currently upgradable troops will have an icon next to it. You can also click the upgrade window, which will list all the current troops that can be upgraded for easier management. Mind you, upgrading costs money, and cavalry especially cannot be upgraded if you don't have the required horses in your inventory. Some troops need specific types of horses, so keep that in mind. In the end, you can upgrade troops to become either infantry, archers, cavalry, or even horse archers. As to which is best, it really depends on the situation, but generally I will say infantry should be the main fighting force in your warband, as they can basically respond to anything. Having an army of archers will not go well if the enemy gets too close, so you want a bit of everything. And to see which troops turn into what, you can press N on the world map to access the game encyclopedia. From there, click on troops. Then click on any troop you want info on, and you will see the troop upgrade tree, as well as the unit's equipment and level. So it's quite useful to get the specific troops you're looking to train. Upgrading troops assumes, of course, that you get into battles and win. But this video is quite long as it is, and there's a lot to cover when it comes to Bannerlord battles. So that's about it for today. But in the next video, we'll finally be looking at battles, how to use tactics, and what battles should be sought or avoided. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.